Hello and welcome to Witchy Shit and Manga Lit with Rawiyah and Carnivus. We are I don't know why I always try to start this off with S if I know what we're going to talk about because I don't know what we're going to talk about. But last time we talked, you said you had two topics cooking. So which one are we going to talk about today, Carta?
Oh no, I forgot both of them. No, I have things for us to talk about. They're just not slated specific topics. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to kind of bring up some random things that I want us to talk about. Does that make sense?
Okay, so this is a
We're
little
going
bit
to
of everything
we're going
episode.
to go with the flow today and then maybe there'll be a theme afterwards. Oh.
Okay, cool. Cool. So what have you been taking in and enjoying this week?
Oh my god, so much stuff. Because I got my tattoo on Thursday, I ended up reading a significant amount more than I normally do. Because I was laying down for 6.5 hours while a needle was scraping across my skin and inserting ink into
Mm.
my body. The huge. And I ended up reading 7
Mhm.
manga. And so there is this series called Matcha Made in Heaven, and it is absolutely adorable. It is about a girl who returns home from working in the big city. She had been arranged a marriage to this guy who was basically gonna force her to be a trad wife, and she was like, "Fuck you," and, like, decided to run away because he kept stalking her. So,
Mm.
she runs back home, and her family ran a tea farm, and she gets to home and sees, like, this random guy she's never met before, but he's, like, super handsome, and he's, like, really mean to her for no reason. And she's like, "Where the hell is my brother? He's the one who inherited the tea farm." And he's like, "Well, your brother couldn't make the tea farm run, so he's writing now. That's what he does." And he has a daughter who's her little niece, and his wife had died. So basically, this new surly guy is running the tea farm, like the farming part of the business, and her brother is writing, and they together are taking care of her little niece. Well, she is like, "Well, okay, I'm here. I'm gonna help out." And he's like, "Oh, good God, you're gonna be useless because you're a city girl." And so, like, it's this dynamic of her, like, working really hard and trying to learn how to do her family business. And, at one point, her ex, like, shows up, the stalker, and she just, like, yells at him, "Get away from me, I'm married to this guy now," and, like, clings to the surly guy, and
Mhm.
he's, like, "Cover the niece's eyes," and he goes and beats the shit out of the ex, and it's like, "Yes! Get him!" So, like, that's how it starts, but, like, because she screamed in the middle of the tea field, "I married this guy," the rest of the tea farmers now all think that they're married, which is good for him because they kept trying to set him up with all of their daughters so that he would come work at their tea farms. So they're like, "Ah, mutual benefit. Let's pretend like we're married to everybody." But then the niece gets really attached to the idea because she's like, "Oh, auntie is marrying this guy who's been taking care of me. It's perfect. They're gonna be perfect together." And so, like, they have to pretend like they still have a relationship around her, but, like, they slowly fall in love, and it's adorable. It's fucking adorable.
Sounds cute.
So that was the main thing I did, and then I'm trying to think what else we've been watching Mushoku Tensei, which is just a fucking disaster of a show. I both actively dislike the show and also want to know what's going to happen. So it's very conflicting for me. Cause like I'm watching it and I'm like, I fucking hate the show. And then I'm like, but I kind of want to know what happens with this one character. So I'll keep watching.
Mhm.
But I really don't like the show.
Mm.
Like the whole time. Like the animation is good. The story is decent. It's also terrible. It's just I can't
Mm.
recommend this to anybody.
Mm.
I can't recommend it to literally anyone. Um, so don't watch it, but it's okay. It's it's hard to describe, but, like, don't watch it. Um, trying to think. I did read some other things as well. Like I read the Into the Tiger's Den that I got you hooked on, and
I read it. I finished it.
I read Honey Bear, which I
Mhm.
cued you into as well. Those were two extremely cute BLs that just came out. Both of them are brand new. One is on Tapas, and the other's on Tappy Tunes. And then I'm trying to think. There's another one about like the tyrant is in charge of the strategy game. Let me find it. Tower defense or something like that. Um, that one's on Tappy Tunes. Zach's been bugging me to read this one for a while, but it didn't have an official release, so I was kind of,
Mhm.
I prefer to wait just because I like actually supporting the artists if I can.
Mhm.
And it's called The Tyrant's Tower Defense Game. And Tyrant of the Tower Defense Game. It's super fun. It's like really funny,
Mhm.
but like it has actual stakes where like characters will die
Oh.
and he can't get them back. Like he's basically been transported bodily into the game that he plays. So,
Mm.
like the game stats will pop up for him and he gets rewards like in a video game, but he's living it. So like if he dies, he actually dies type of thing.
Ah, it's like some Sword Art Online shit.
Yeah, and if he loses companions, he loses companions, like they're gone forever. One of
Mm.
his companions, he knows like her secret powers, so he has her start at the very beginning, basically using this power, which is like she can transform part of her body into fire as a defense mechanism, but she
Mhm.
used it too much and ran out of mana and like ends up in a wheelchair. And so for the
Mhm.
rest of the series, she's in a wheelchair as like a super powerful
Mm.
mage. And like
That's awesome.
they
I
make sure
mean,
to take
awesome
her
to have
places.
disability represented.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where things actually have consequences in the
Mhm.
game, which I feel like makes it a little bit more realistic. You know, it's not just like, oh, everybody has magic and you can heal from whatever. No, like she can't walk anymore because she got too injured and no one could heal her from that. And now she's in a wheelchair, but she's still like really powerful. And she keeps asking to retire. And he's like, no, you're too important. You can't do that. um, but yeah, it's a really fun little thing. So I'm I'm not that far into it. I'm only like 30 chapters in, 24 chapters in. But yeah, it's doing pretty good. And then there's Tokyo Revengers, which already feelings are hurt. Already. We're like halfway through the new season. And it's like, fuck y'all, fuck all of y'all. Why did you do this?
I was I was not ready for what happened the last two episodes that we saw. Uh Feelings are big hurt. And I had to stop.
Mhm.
Like I I rarely had to tap out on some shit, but I had to tap out. I had to tap out. Um it was fucked up. I can't It is fucked up. It is fucked up. That is all I can say. Like, these are children. These are children.
Yeah, and they're killing each other.
Yeah.
I mean, Baji was kind of the start, I feel like. So I went to go yell at Sarah. I went to go yell at Sarah because Sarah's the one who said, "Oh no, it ends on a satisfactory note." So if that doesn't happen, I'm flying my ass to England, and we're gonna see who's
I
satisfactory on
just
that
added
note.
Sarah to friends on Facebook.
Oh, okay. But yeah, what she said was, "Oh yeah, yeah, that part's really bad. But don't worry, it gets progressively worse as the seasons go on." And I'm just like, "Oh, bitch, what? Progressively what? Please to explain." And she's like, "I'm not going to tell you what happens, but like it gets real bad before the end of it." And I'm like, I'm gonna have to read the fucking comic, aren't I? Hate you.
Ugh.
So I will be back on my bullshit, and by bullshit I mean reading the comic.
Hmm. I don't. I don't think I watched anything new this week at all. Um, I am almost done reading the first book in Heaven Official's Blessing. Uh, and Bertha just started it. Bertha got
Mhm.
the paperback copy from the library and is reading it, which I think is great. And I've been mostly watching Sign of Affection on loop. It's like it's my new comfort serotonin anime right now. It's so cute. I was thinking, oh, there's never going to be another white-haired, blue-eyed pro tag for me.
There is a line, okay? There is a line going like 20 dudes back of white hair, blue-eyed pro tags just for you, I promise. Like literally Kakashi's back there like, "Hey."
Oh my
And
god, have to check out Kakashi. I've seen a few episodes of Naruto, and like I would have to admit, like Kakashi was
just find Kakashi edits. You don't need to watch Naruto.
okay. I'll
It
find
that
Kakashi
is a
edits.
900 episode commitment. I am not doing that to you.
What else? Let me look on my I read Tiger's Den, which is super cute. Um I finished did it finish? I think Omega Complex is having some special episodes.
Mm.
So I caught up on that and I caught up on Nerd Complex as well. And I need these I need Luke to figure out that it's not acting.
Yes. I need him to get it together a little bit. Like he's a very flighty character, which is great. It makes him fun, but at the same time it's like,
Hmm.
bro.
It's like
Get
he's
it
not doing
get
this
it
to help you.
together, please.
Yes, it's like he's not doing this to help you advance your career, baby. He is definitely after that ass. Like he is after that ass. Um, and also I feel bad for I don't remember his name. Um, but I feel bad for him, like what he's been through and all the other
Andrew.
stuff. Andrew, oh my God. Andrew has been through so much. And at first when I met him, I'm like, this punk. And now I'm like, oh my God, Andrew, Luke is just blowing open your world and all you want to do is be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I feel like I need Luke to get with the program faster because it's hurting Andrew to have him respond. So,
Hmm.
you know,
It's like, yeah, that was great, buddy. Thanks.
yeah. Butt pat. Bye.
Hmm.
Sports team.
Yeah. Yeah. Go Rydell.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I have been in relationships kind of like that, and I have been Luke in the situation.
Okay. I can see that based on your personality.
I have been a Luke. I have been like, I literally, okay. So I think I said this a few episodes back. Can't remember if I said this to you, if I said this actually to my housemates. But like with my friends, those I can see myself having sex with most of my friends. That's just a part of my brain. It's like, oh, I wonder what their O face looks like. Or, oh, I can make them like, I want them to have the best experience ever, so let me give it to them. Like, that's just how my brain works. I want to fuck my
Mhm.
friends. So, and so I had this one friend, and I was like, hey, I have to go clean all these oranges out of the yard that fell from this tree. Like, my back is out. Can you help me? If you help me, I'll eat that pussy. And she was like, you'll eat this pussy? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's go. Let's go clean up some fucking oranges. Like, so we clean up oranges. Then we both took a shower. We got into my room. I put on the Kenny G, you know what I'm saying? Because I love that Kenny G. And she was like, no, no Kenny G. I was like, oh, damn. So we put on something else. And then I'm like, all right, like I'm ready to dive in. And she's like, how about a kiss? And I'm like, oh, we kissing?
You're like, I was thinking kissing the other lips. That's what I'm here for.
I was just gonna go for it. Like I wasn't expecting no kiss. She's like, yes, let's kiss. And I'm like, okay, so we're kissing. And I'm like, this is nice. This is great. And then I'm like, can I now do what I came to do? And they're like, fine, whatever. So like, I this bitch has known me for years. Like this was. She's like, oh, you're whatever. So like, I went to town. I went to town. I put in some of my best work. And she was like, I didn't know she was in love with me or that she had a crush on me.
Oh.
Yeah, and I made it clear that I'm like, I'm here for some roll in the sheets, but I'm not here for a relationship with anybody. But we kept making out, and I'm like, this is great. This is fun. This is cool. And then she was like, no, like, I want a relationship with you. And by then it had gone on so long that I was like, oh, I guess we're already in a relationship. But for me, it was like still like a friendship. Anyway, I got all fucked up. I got all in it. They got all in it, and it ended badly. Um,
Oh.
it got better, but then they turned into a psychopath. Not with me, just like with life in
In
general.
general.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the opposite than that. So, like, I need to be very good friends with someone before I can be sexually attracted to them, but I'm not just automatically sexually attracted to my friends.
Oh
I'm
no, I
always
have
up
to
for
know them
cuddling,
for a
though.
while.
Well, no, like, even that, I mean, like, even people I've known for, like, decades and stuff like that, I'm not automatically, like,
Mhm.
crushing on them, but I can't really I don't want to do anything with someone unless I know them
Mhm.
really, really well
Yeah.
for
Meanwhile, I'm a
me.
hoe.
I love that for you. Like, I feel like that's just live your best life. That's amazing. I just like I've been thinking about this and I'm wondering if I'm on the A spectrum at all because like I'm not I like the idea of sex, but I don't always feel like I want to do stuff. Does that make sense?
It does. And that's completely like fine and viable. And I think that I feel that way sometimes too, even when I'm on the whole like I'm
Mhm.
a hoe. But also there are times when I'm like, this is nice and don't touch me. Um so yeah. So tell me more if you're open to like sharing.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about because like it's something that we were like, you know how we always thirst after like the anime men, right?
Oh my god, yes.
I can't actually imagine myself being with my husbando in that way. That's not part of my imagination.
Mm.
Like, I like the idea of him,
Mhm.
but, like, the concept of, like, imagining that hasn't even crossed my mind. And it actively wigs me out when I see people do ship art with him. I'm like, "Mm, I'm not okay with
So
this." But I'm fine with ship art with Gojo and Geto. That's fine for me.
listen for real. I have fantasized about Nanami all the way. So I have fantasized about your husbando. But I have not fantasized about Gojo or Gato.
Really?
I only fantasize about them together. And when I see somebody draw an original character with either one of them, I'm like,
It's like, "No,
go
why
to
are you
yeah.
doing that?
I want to
Stop
set
it."
fire. I want to set it on fire. I'm like, lies, 100%
Yeah.
brazy. Like,
Okay, I'm glad I'm not completely alone on that one because I'm like, I feel like everybody's like getting like super hot and bothered in the comments, and I'm like, why are you doing that? I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because like I said, I'm totally fine with the Gojo Ghetto shipping. They're aces all day, every day.
Mhm.
But every time I see Nanami shipped with literally anybody, I'm like, no, stop it.
Yeah.
Leave my man alone.
Mhm.
He's not even for me. But you saying that you fantasized about him, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I totally
You're,
fantasized
you're,
about him.
you're allowed. Nobody else though.
Yeah.
Leave my man alone. Sorry.
I had met one other person who was like me, like in the way of I told him I he flirts with everybody.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, you're like a dog." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're like a dog. You just want to sniff everybody's ass. Like just to get to know them. Like
Mm.
your way of a handshake is let me put my dick inside of you. Like that's how you shake hands. I get
Oh my
this.
god, so I feel like there are people that are just like that, and you
Yeah.
accept it and are fine with it. Like, okay, so there was this guy that I knew in
Yeah.
college, right? And this was part of our, like, cinema crew, I guess. Like, we were in, like it was kind of like a combination of, like, the nerds and the art nerds and the theater nerds, but for film. And there was this one guy who was just like his charisma was over 9,000, okay? He's the kind of
Mhm.
guy that would just walk up to you, grab your tits to say hello, and then mosey on his day, and you're like, "Okay, that's normal." And when I tried to explain that to someone, before, they were like, "What? How is
Yeah.
that?" I'm like, "Unless you've known someone like this, it is impossible to describe how that
To explain
works."
it.
Because, like, it was it was a tit grab in a non-threatening way. Like, I
Yep.
knew he wasn't going to do anything else. It was just like, "Honk, honk. Good to see you. Bye."
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, he may have wanted more, but, like, it never got any further with me, and I was
Yeah.
totally fine with that.
Yeah. You know, this is what that guy is like. This is what I realize I show incredible restraint around a lot of people. Um but I think it's fair for me to say about my own self is that the people who are my friends, I don't have that many close friends,
Mhm,
like who I feel the most comfortable with. I'm vulnerable with a lot of people, but who I can be silly with, like we talked about, like that.
mhm.
And I am legit in love with most of them. And that's just how I function. I would take a bullet for them. I would like I would take care of them if they were sick in several ways. It's just like, what do you need? 100% I'm here for you. In lots of different ways on lots of different levels. And I've always been
Okay,
like that and I've
so
been ashamed of it for a while.
no, don't be ashamed of it. Here, let me explain what's happening to you so you understand, because I'm the exact same way. It's a relationship anarchist because you don't have a hierarchy of friend, lover, family. It's all at the same level for
Oh
you
yeah.
emotionally. So you're like, you're my family, you're my friend, you're my best friend, you're my lover. Everybody's at the same level and is as important to you in your life in that way. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, you're as important to me as my husband is. You know what I mean? And he's learned to be okay with that. So, unlike my last husband, who was an asshole. Oh,
Ugh.
but what's funny is before I got on, he came in the room and he was like, "So, are they excited about visiting?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And he's like, "So they know that the only reason the house is remotely clean is because of me, right?" I'm like, "Yes." You don't understand. They've known me for like 15 years. They know what I'm like. They know that all of the mess is probably me. And he's like, "Good, because I'm a clean person." I'm like, "I know, sweetie. You do your best. You do your best. We know. We know."
Mhm.
But But yeah, I think that's just what you're like. You're also in that where you have a relationship anarchy, and a lot of partners can't handle that because they want to be number 1, and if they're not number 1, they get mad.
Mhm.
And so finding someone who understands that about you and accepts that about you is, like, so freeing, I can't even tell you.
Mm.
So, yeah. But I think we're definitely the same in that, um, because, you know, important. Yeah. Yeah, because you're one of the top people in my life. Even though we live far away, I still
Yeah, we
think
live
about you, like,
so
all the
far
time.
away. If we weren't so far away, I'd be like there.
I was gonna say we would basically live in each other's house like we were before.
Yes.
Permanent fixture. That's just how it works.
Mhm. Oh. So yeah, my you're right. That makes sense about the relationship anarchists because I never understood hierarchy in friendships. I never understood hierarchy in polyamorous relationships. Like
Mhm.
it never made sense to me. I have such a strong sense of compersion for
Mhm.
others too.
Yeah.
And for those of you who aren't familiar with that word, it's when someone else feels joy, you experience it like it's your own joy. Like not like for me, if I had a lover who was with someone else and they would come home, I'd be like, "Oh my God, tell me everything." Like, was it good? Was it bad? Just tell me everything. Like, let me go get the popcorn. I want to
Yeah.
know. And if they're happy and satisfied, I am so happy and satisfied for them. And if they're sad, I'm like, who we got to kill?
Right.
I'm like, who we got to kill? Let me get the garbage bags and the duct tape and the gloves. And like, let's go handle it. So, yeah. Oh my God, no, my true friend, I love my friends so much. I love my friends so much. I love all my friends so much. So, yeah. Oh, warm fuzzies.
Warm fuzzies. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's difficult to explain unless you understand. Some
Yeah.
people do have hierarchies in their relationship, which I don't fully understand for them. Like I understand having like boundaries set, but I don't
Yes.
feel like boundaries set means that you have less affection based on X, Y, and Z. It's just you have boundaries for certain things, and that's fine. Um, but yeah, it's it's so fascinating talking about interacting with other people. We really went down a rabbit hole with this. See, I told you there was stuff we wanted to talk. We will fill the time. It'll be fine. I promise.
Yay.
Um, yeah, where did we even start with that one? Oh no, we were talking about anime husband.
Yes. Yes. We were talking about anime husbandos.
Like we started out talking about Kakashi, and we ended up like completely off the rails.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's fine. We usually go off the rails. It's normal.
It's okay.
It's all right. Uh, yeah, I've been in like a distracting amount of pain for the last few days because of getting a tattoo. And I mean, I knew I would because this is the largest and most complex tattoo I've ever had, and it's in a very sensitive spot. It's on my ankle. It's like on my heel, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually getting tattooed on your heel is a nightmare. Please don't do that. I assure you, it's not fun. Because they're basically sticking the needle directly into the Achilles repeatedly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You're a G.
the way that I yelped every time she did the wipe down at the at the end of this session,
Mm-hmm.
she kept jump scaring me with it because like I can't see behind me, right? And she's like, "Well, at least you stopped twitching so much after I got done with the line work." And I'm like, "It's because I can't see." Because like when she was
Mm-hmm.
working on Nanami for me, I could see for the most part what she was doing, and I twitch less when I can see the needle going in. But, like, when I can't see it starting, I twitch more because my body's involuntary reaction is, "What the fuck is this?"
Mhm. Mhm.
But with color, it's not as bad because it's, like, a wider birth, so, like, the nerves are more spread out in where it's being scraped.
Mhm.
But still, that was an impressively large area. That tattoo is about, 6 or 7 inches tall on the back of my leg,
Mm.
and the width is basically between the other 2 tattoos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good size. I just compared that size to my magnolia by using my fingers, and I'm like,
Mhm,
that's a big size for down there.
mhm. Yeah, well, the idea is I'm gonna cover my lower leg, um, mostly with anime men, so we'll see how that
Mhm.
works. Not necessarily all in a sexy way, but, like, actually not all men either, because I am thinking of doing Galaxia on the back of my like, right above where Spike is,
Mhm.
because I fucking love that character, she's such a bad bitch.
What show
She's
is
like
this from? I don't think
Sailor
I'm not.
Moon.
Oh, Galaxia from Sailor Moon.
Yeah, she's the bad guy
Oh.
from Sailor Stars. She's such a bad bitch. She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna destroy the universe, what are you gonna do about it?" "Try me." And that outfit in
Mhm.
the gold, spot on. I love her so much. Are you looking her up?
Yes.
I gotta look her up too, because like, it's been decades, but, like, that's how deeply she ingrained in my psyche from when I saw her when I was a kid.
Oh, that is an outfit. Yeah, I think that's one of the ones I haven't seen. I know that's one of the ones I haven't seen. But all of Sailor Moon is out somewhere, isn't it? Like, is it on Hulu or something like
It
that?
is on Hulu, and speaking of Hulu, they're gonna start cracking down on the additional logins. So, March 17th is when they're gonna cut it off.
You know
So you
what?
better watch as much as you can before then.
I'm not. I would normally be concerned, but I'm not too concerned. And I'm not too concerned because Netflix tried to do the same thing.
My friend got cut off from Netflix because they're checking the
IP
ISP.
address.
Yeah, the IP address.
Yeah. It hasn't happened yet on my Net. There's still somewhere who lives in a whole different state who's on my Netflix account. So maybe it won't happen. If it does, I have a Disney Hulu Plus bundle, and so I'll just have to watch with commercials.
Okay. Well, yeah, but Sailor Moon's on there, the entirety of it. I wanna rewatch the entire thing before I get that one, so it's gonna be probably over a year before I get that one
Mhm.
because I'm planning them out months apart because I wanna give healing time for them, obviously.
Mhm.
So that's why, like, I got Nanami in October, the very beginning of October, so it's been, like, 5 months. So
Mhm.
I probably won't get Toski until August. That's what I told her, was probably August, somewhere around there. Because like, we wanna go to Disney in, um, October,
Mhm.
so that'll give me healing time so I'm not, like, out in the elements with a fresh tattoo.
Mhm.
Because that's no bueno, but we'll see. We'll see. It's so funny because Kurt's actually relatively chill about me literally covering my leg with tattoos because he's like, "Well, it's your
Mhm.
body and your money. As long as you have the money to, like, take a plane down and stuff, you're fine." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I'll budget. I'll do my best to save up, and so I'm not, like, wrecking myself." Because I try to do the tattoos with cash so that I don't, wreck my credit cards because 'cause they're kind of expensive, like, that Spike piece was, like, 1,600 for
Oh,
the tattoo.
wow.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
It came out so good, I'm so happy with it. I'm excited. Oh, but what was so one of the best parts of getting a tattoo in a tattoo shop though is the shop gossip. So this kid came in and he had changed what he was gonna do from, like, a little tattoo to, like, a band on his arm, and then
Mhm.
was upset when the artist was like, "Well, that's gonna double the cost because it's gonna take more time to get that on your arm," and he's like, "Well, I can't afford it because it's a college town." So, like, these college kids come in and they're like, "Oh, wait, tattoos cost money?"
Yeah, yeah, they are a piece of art being put onto your skin permanently.
Like, "They cost money? What?"
Mhm.
I'm like, "Yeah, if they don't cost money, they're not gonna be very high quality."
Mhm.
Like, you saw the work that I got, the Nanami piece was 1,000 as well, so, like,
Mhm.
you get what you pay for, basically,
Yep.
and if it had been
I
cheaper,
looked
it
up
probably wouldn't get that.
my magnolia was only 200, of which I only had to pay 100,
Mhm,
because it was a cover up from someone who was toxic in our in the burlesque community.
mhm.
So another community member who was a tattoo artist, she said, "Come through, and I will get rid of that for you. I will cover it up for you." And she stated only $100 to do it, and then someone else in the community was like, "I'll put another 100 on that for you."
Oh,
So
that's nice. Is
yeah,
her hourly, like, 250, 300, something like that?
maybe, and she did it in an hour. Like it is,
Yeah,
she was fast. It was, and it's not a small piece either. It's like the size of my hand.
yeah.
And yeah, and I have a big hand, but she did a beautiful job.
Yeah, that's why, like, my artist is 250 an hour, which, when I told somebody that, they're like, "Oh my god, that's expensive." I'm like, "No, that's actually pretty mid-level for tattoo
Mhm.
artists." They're like, "Mid-level? What's an expensive artist like?" I'm like, "If you've seen, like, the people that do, like, photorealism and shit like that on Instagram or whatever, you're looking at thousands and thousands of dollars for those pieces." And they're like,
Mhm.
"What, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, because it's worth it." Like, pay your artists, okay?
Mhm.
Pay them, they are worth it. And I was like, "Yeah, and my artist is worth it because 'cause you've seen her work. It's super high quality and very colorful," which is what I was going for. I'm like, "I want anime pieces that actually look like anime pieces, give it to me," and she does, so
Mhm.
I'm excited to have started working with her, and she's really nice, um, so I like
So
that
did
a
that kid
lot.
walk out without getting a
Yeah, he
tattoo?
did. He walked out without getting a tattoo, and then, like, the artist just started gossiping, and so I'm, like, sitting there listening to them gossip, and he's like, "I bet he's gonna go to that other shop in town, the one with that dude who killed somebody," and I'm like, "Somebody killed somebody?" And he's like, "Oops."
Wow.
So I got all of the gossip because apparently some dude had, like, killed some lady and, like, chopped her up and was going to jail, and I was like, "Oh my god, what
Oh,
the
Lord.
that's some serial killer shit." Yeah, apparently he was a tattoo artist at a different shop. I don't know which shop it is, so I can't warn anybody. He wasn't given too many details, probably because he realized that there was a client there.
Mm,
But yeah, they were just chatting away while she was doing the background around the the swordfish on my leg.
mhm.
Interesting the things you can learn being a fly on the wall. Yeah. But yeah, it was fun, but it was very painful. I realized that I have, like, a threshold where my body's just like, "You need to stop now." And I'm like, "No, just a
Mhm.
little bit longer." And it's like, yeah, you need to stop now."
Mhm.
And it hits me around 4 or 5 hours. So, like, at the end of the Nanami tattoo, I was like, "I'm ready to be done." And then she was done, so it was easy. But this one, I was
Mhm.
ready to be done about an hour, hour and a half before she finished. I was like,
Mm.
So, like, I couldn't read anymore. I was just kind of clinging to the to
To the
the table,
table?
like, listening to the gossip, trying to distract myself from the unending torture that was happening on my leg,
Mhm.
which, like, I still think I did pretty good. She said I sat well, so, besides being twitchy. But even while being twitchy, like, Obviously the lines and stuff were good, so I wasn't too twitchy,
Mhm.
just fairly twitchy. Yeah. Trying to think what else I was thinking of talking about, because I know there was something else that was at the tippy top of my head. Um, hmm.
And I'm too high to contribute.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm so high. Oh! Oh my god. Oh, let me tell you. I think I told you. Maybe I didn't tell you because it was a Thursday. Therapy. I went to therapy this Thursday. I
Mhm.
love my therapist. My therapist is like the greatest. I just like my therapist has got me right in the head. It's got me right in the head. So like I was telling her how I was able to continue to do art and like it's getting easier and how my imagination is starting to come back. And she said, "Yeah, well, I think I did tell you this."
You did, but talk about it.
Yeah, about how imagination can't exist where there's trauma in a way because you're just thinking about I need to survive. Like I have to survive and anything that brings in your imagination becomes a feels frivolous because all you're trying to do is make it to the next moment, the next second.
Mhm.
And so my creativity had gone away because I was always in survival mode. And so my imagination coming back means that I'm doing better. Like my trauma's actually healing. And I am just so I'm jazzed about that because let me tell you, once I get this trauma in check, oh my God, can't nobody tell me shit. It is like on and cracking. So yeah, it was just such a powerful there were so many powerful revelations that came through in that session. And for that to be one of them, and now I could use my imagination as a tool to help me deal with trauma further. But to remap those pathways, oh my God, and I couldn't have done it like without your help. Like I couldn't have done it without your help. Cause sitting there writing has been gut wrenching for me.
Mhm.
Um, and I couldn't sit there and do that on my own. So I've got high hiccups. I'm high and I have hiccups.
Yeah, I agree, because like, what we were talking about the other day, when I was with my ex, I stopped drawing for the longest time. The only thing
Mhm.
that got me back to drawing was actually talking a lot with, uh, my current guy, because I started getting hope again.
Mhm.
Because hope is the real seed to creativity. I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, tortured artists, blah, yada, yada." But the truth is when an artist loses hope, that's when they can't create.
Yep, I
That
had lost
like,
hope.
when depression really, really takes you, you can't create. But if you have even a sliver of hope, you generate that hope into something. You make something with that hope. And, um it's also creativity as a muscle, like I was saying, like when, one of my new art mutuals is like, "Oh my god, you're so creative, you're always making new things," and I'm like, "That's because I set the commitment to myself to draw every day, and if I'm not drawing every day, it's because I'm injured or ill." Like, if I'm really, really sick one day, I won't draw that day, but, like, every other day, I'm drawing for at least a half hour, if not a full hour, because if not 4 hours.
Mm.
Working on multiple pieces like I did last night. Um, and, like, that's just how we roll as humans. It's a mechanism, and I realized that, like, there's also I something that I've realized more recently because of some of the things that are happening is I have trauma like, my messiness is a trauma response.
Mm, mhm.
And I also have a trauma response where I if I can't if I don't know why someone is upset, I try to hide. Because ever since I was really little, my mom would get, um, like, hormone issues run in the family, basically. So, during that time of the month, my mom would get, like, violent,
Mm.
because of hormone swings. Like, if she can't find something, literally, like, pulling a drawer out of the wall and
Mhm.
flinging it to the ground, throwing everything out type of thing.
Oh. Mhm.
So, I get responses to things where if somebody's upset for any reason and I do not understand what the reason is, like, I clam up because
Mhm.
I'm used to being in situations where someone is upset and I don't know the reason. But I also realize that my messiness is part of my trauma response because when I was a kid, um, I ended up losing a lot of things because I always had too much stuff. And my mom would just throw it away or give it away without telling me.
Oh no,
So,
that's
I
fucked up.
lost so I lost huge toy collections, all kinds of stuff, because it just got given away or sold or, you know, it was gone because it needed to be gone. And so that's part of the reason probably why I end up low key hoarding some things because 1, buying things gives you dopamine, and 2,
Mhm.
but I don't have anywhere to put most of the stuff that I have. That's why there's piles of books behind me because that's how I roll, and I realize that not having a place to put things gives me anxiety and trauma because I'm worried that those things are going to disappear. Like, if he starts to clean my stuff, I freak out. So he's like, "I need you to not freak out because I'm cleaning," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, but I'm expecting that stuff to disappear and I'll never see it again." So,
Mhm.
because of things that happened when I was a kid. So, I probably do need to go to therapy to kind of deal with stuff like that. The only problem that I'm gonna find with therapy is because of my ADHD, I literally do not remember that I have trauma over things unless I'm being confronted with those things, and then I'm triggered, and the trauma's active.
Yes. I think being in therapy, going and finding a therapist who also has a background in ADHD or has ADHD themselves, like, might be helpful to give you more insights and more tools
Mm.
to, like, to help with that. I needed a therapist who was smart, which is good because people generally think, "Oh, you're a therapist, you're smart." There are some stupid ass therapists out there. There are. They are. Just because you went to school doesn't mean you're smart. And I've run into several therapists who were not that. And I needed a therapist who could keep up with me because I will think myself into
Mhm.
corners and boxes, and cognitive behavioral therapy doesn't work for me. And neither does, I think it's didactic behavioral therapy work for me either. Um, so it's like, how do you work with a mind that's moving on like the same levels that my mind was moving on at the time?
Mhm.
And my therapist, fucking brilliant, knows how to like stop me in my tracks, give me things I can actually digest and use that like I haven't been able to before. Like I need a therapist who could reach me. And I think when we have um I'm sorry, I'm high, so my brain is like all over the
No, no
place.
worries.
When we have just the act of going to therapy made me aware that there were things that were going on. So just
Mm.
knowing I was in therapy made me more vigilant about my interactions with people and
Oh,
with
that makes
things.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, I have a therapy appointment. Oh yeah, I'm in therapy. I'm in therapy because I need therapy. Why do I need therapy? Well, because of this trauma, this CPTSD, this like
Mhm.
situation with my mom, this relationship with this ex, like behavioral practice and habits. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So I'm reminded that I have these things, which means I need to watch for certain situations and that I have tools to deal with the situations when they come up. So I'm like, if you get a smart therapist who either has ADHD, preference
Mhm.
ADHD, like a therapist who also has ADHD, or is uh specializes in clients with ADHD, like,
'Cause, like, I think that I can get if I can unlock certain things within my own brain and get, like, clear out some of the trauma I have, I could probably get more organized
mhm,
because I really need to get more organized, and I currently have these barriers in place which are keeping me from getting organized, and it's so funny because we've talked about it before, me and my partner, because he like, when we first met, he was so much trauma. He still has so much trauma. But because I was able to recognize that he had trauma and I could give him some support when he had had literally 0 beforehand, the amount that he's leveled up is absolutely
mhm.
insane. And he recognized that. He's like, "Yeah, I've been able to get as far as I have because of you, but I feel like I'm not equipped to give you the same level of support, so I need you to go to therapy so you can get the support you need." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that's probably
He
true."
is the greenest of flags. Oh my god, I'm so happy for you. And I believe he's correct.
Yeah.
I believe he's correct. I believe he's correct. Um,
So
yeah.
I'll
Therapy has
I'll
been
look.
so helpful for me. I hope you find a therapist that works for, if you decide to get therapy,
Mhm,
like I hope you like have the best experience possible. Finding a therapist that's appropriate is not easy. Like I had to find, I'm like, I need a queer therapist, I need a black therapist, I need a body positive and fat liberation like therapist. Like I need someone who's smart. I need someone who has liberated their practices from the practices that they were taught. Because the
mhm.
whole therapy, like education, like all the education is from like cishet white dudes who are dead, who lived in a different time and were still glorifying their works when they haven't accounted for marginalized peoples. Like they haven't accounted for
Yeah.
queer people. The like gender non-binary people are not in their equation. Women and femmes, not a thing for them at all. So to also find a therapist, I hope you also find a therapist who has done the unraveling of the work from the rhetoric of the work.
Mhm. That's
So
true.
yeah. Therapy, like, yeah, I'm so like my therapist is not covered by insurance.
Oof.
So I was very happy. All the therapists I went to that were covered by insurance, one therapist had me so fucked up that I was crying all the time.
Oh, that's messed
Just,
up.
yeah, just an awful situation. And also thought because I was resilient that I didn't need help.
What?
Yeah.
No.
In some people's minds, some therapists' mind, if you are, it ends at resiliency.
Mm. They're like,
Like
"You
if
just
you
have to
can
be
get
able
a,
to survive, you're fine."
yeah,
And that's like,
that
that's not
that's
the end
therapy under
game.
capitalism. That's
Right.
therapy under capitalism. Like if
Can
you're
you be
able to,
productive?
yes, then that's all you need to be. So my therapist saw my resiliency as a sign that I wasn't as bad as I was thinking I was.
Hmm.
And when I got my current therapist, she didn't say, "Oh no, you fucked up," but she said, "Like
But you know what she meant.
I knew what she meant. I knew what she meant. I knew what she meant." She was like, "Whoa," um, she was like, I got you," and like I love my therapist because my therapist, when I hear stuff in my head, like she's like, did that thought come from you or did it come from outside of your head? Who is these tapes? Da da. Did you hear this? Like Did you get this download? Did you go to your altar with it? Did you consult your ancestors about it? Like, is this your trauma or is this their trauma? Like, asking questions like that. That is my therapist. Oh, I love my therapist so
Those
much.
are the
I love my
good
therapist.
questions. Shit.
Yes. Yeah, every fucking session is like a whoo after talking with her. Um,
I'm
so
happy
yeah.
for you that you found somebody that's good.
Mhm. She keeps me on my toes. And I also think therapy there's cuz Tragic Jesus, I found a therapist for him and he was going and actually was helping him and other people he just kept treating me the same, but other people he started treating differently. Yeah. Yeah, it was so wild to watch him be better to other people, but still be trash when it came to me.
That's because he is trash. He could just pretend with
Yes.
other people.
Yeah, it's trash. Basura.
Basura.
Um, just awful. And that therapist, she was a trip though. She was a trip. But the therapy only works in so as much as you tell your therapist what's actually going on and all of what's going on.
Hmm.
So I don't know how effective it was for him in the beginning because he wasn't talking about he was still closed off. Like he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about me in therapy. And he told me, it's like,
Mm.
yeah, he would come up like, yeah, we talked about you in therapy. I'm like, don't talk about me, bitch. Talk about you. Like, talk about, I mean, I'm tied to you, but like, talk about you.
Talk about your fucked up family a little bit too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh. So, yeah, and so when I went into therapy, I was like, here's the box. I upended the box. I was like, here's all my shit. Here's all my issues. Here's this and that. And she's like, okay, let's take everything and put it back in the box. And then let's look at one or two things at a time. Maybe three, but let's like and I found that the three things we chose to really look at all touch these other big things. Like there's three big things that had spiraled out into smaller things. But anyway, therapy, good therapist, 10 out of 10, highly recommend if you're able to get one. And if you don't, I hope you use your art as catharsis because there's a lot going
Honestly,
on.
just the volume of art I've been doing has been extremely helpful. It's been like
Mhm.
exercising. Like
Mhm.
being creative is exercise.
Mhm.
So my creative muscles are very well flexed and flexible at this point.
That's so
But I have
cool.
too many projects to work on.
Mhm.
I keep giving myself more projects too. Maybe that's a trauma
Mhm.
response. Stay busy, bitch. Okay, I will. And I did. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's like just doing even if I was only doing it on Monday and Wednesday night, I would think I would still be better off than I was a year ago, you know.
Mhm.
But my growth trajectory has been so high because of doing it as often as I do, because like I do it daily, even if it's just for a
Mhm.
little bit. Like the days that we watch, like Tuesdays when we're watching anime, I can only do it a little bit because um, I'm I'm trying not to stay up till 3 a.m. all the time anymore.
I'm so happy for you.
I have a problem, y'all.
I'm
Oh,
so happy for you.
so but on my art account, I ended up talking about how I read auras.
Mhm.
And I had a few people ask me to read them. And of those people, a couple of them were like, "Oh my God, this is entirely too accurate." And somebody didn't ask me to read them, but just wanted to talk to me about it. And they're like, "So you have synesthesia?" And I'm like, "What? What are you
Oh,
talking
they knew
about?"
the name for it.
And they're like, "You
There's a
see
name for it.
auras as food." And I'm like, holy shit, it is synesthesia. So synesthesia is, for the audience, is if you experience something as something else that other people don't. As an example, some people with synesthesia will be able to see colors with music,
Oh yeah, that's right.
or be able to taste flavors with music, or see images and be able to taste flavors or hear sounds, that kind of thing. So, um, I hadn't ever thought of it like that. I just thought that I read auras in a weird way because I'd never heard of anyone reading other people as food. But, like, the fact that I can do it, I think is weird, but apparently other people just think it's a talent, and they were
It's
extremely
a
excited
talent to
by the
me.
fact that I could read them. And one of them was even like, "Oh my god, my grandma used to make this." And I was like, "Yeah, that happens a lot."
Mhm.
Because, like, oftentimes it'll be stuff that's, like, within your bloodline and stuff like that, and, like, I don't
Mhm.
control it, that's just something that happens. I just tell you what flavors pop up, and we figure out what the hell it is that was causing
Mhm.
them. But, yeah, I got to read a lot of people, so it was both kind of emotionally taxing because it takes a lot of energy to do that, but it's fun, and I need to flex that muscle sometimes. I get better at it
Yes.
if I flex it more often, and I just don't usually have an opportunity to do so because, like, how the fuck am I gonna just show up and be like, "Hey, I can read you as food." You cool with that? So, but yeah, that's fun.
There's a ritual I do called, what the fuck is that ritual called? Did I call it anything? Anyway, I'm veiled.
Mhm.
And I approach or am approached by people and I smell them and
Mm.
then I tell them their soul story from what the
Ooh.
smell I received was.
Yeah.
And so, but I can't see anyone because I'm completely veiled. And there was one person who came up and she had her face, like when I saw her after the ritual, she had had her face covered with just her eyes out. This is at Pantheon. So
Mhm.
she had a full like hood on and she had her face covered and her eyes were out. But I didn't notice until I talked to her afterwards. But when I was through the veil smelling her, I'm like, oh, I see the planes. I'm hearing drums. I'm seeing like deers running. I'm seeing dancing. Like I explained to her like where she came from. Like these are the places where she came from. This is where she's going.
Mhm.
And we talked afterwards, and then I get a message from her. She's like, I'm indigenous, and you describe the colors of my tribe.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that ritual
Mhm.
is a good ritual. I did it once with too many people, but I don't smell that way. I don't smell auras. I can smell people's stories sometimes. And
I
sometimes
feel
when
like
I'm
you can though, because remember after we saw each other after a really, really long time, and you told me I smelled like lavender, which was weird to me because I wasn't wearing any lavender at all.
mm, and when somebody throw at me, I do be smelling. I smell when people throw at me.
Mhm. Yeah. So I think you smell energy the way that I taste energy.
Mm. Hmm.
Because I realize I can actually see auras, but I have
Mhm.
to energetically go visit a person
Mhm.
to be able to see the aura's color. But I can now. I can see the colors now, which is has been interesting and new.
I can't see them anymore. I used to be able to see them, but like I cannot. What I can do is I can see overlays over people,
Hmm. Okay.
but they're
How does
not the
that work?
same. It's like it's like you know that scene in Jujutsu Kaisen where Nanami was in a bakery and that bitch had something over her shoulder?
Yeah.
That. sometimes the energies that people have going on, especially if they're not really theirs, cling to them.
Oh,
So I can see
okay.
what's clinging to them. And in seeing what's clinging to them, I can sometimes see or smell what's clinging to them. And that will give me an indication as to what they're about and whether or not this is operating consciously.
Mm,
Like, remember how
okay.
we're talking about one week? I think we were talking about it how you can see wraiths
Yeah,
over
yeah, yeah,
people.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so instead of auras, I see that.
But, like, I can see that.
Hmm.
I find it funny because I can't really see auras in person. I can only see them virtually.
Ah.
Like, the closer in proximity I am to someone, the harder they are to read for me.
Mm.
I'm actually better at reading strangers that are not even remotely in my vicinity. So, like, the
Mm.
activity you did where, like, people were coming up to you, I probably couldn't do that, but I can do it online.
Yeah, so we're like the opposite in that way.
Yeah.
That's super cool. That is super cool.
Mm. Whew.
I keep smelling my wrists, like as I was going to sleep and waking up, because I put on Infinite Void with Sakuna. And just
Yeah.
so you know, Sakuna goes with, uh-oh, we got people coming. We got the Jehovah Witnesses coming to our door. We got the
May
Jehovah Witnesses.
may the odds be ever in their favor.
It's not with
Oh my
me
god.
here.
So, like, what's funny is I actually did for a very brief stint last year, I was doing, like, Bible study with a Jehovah's Witness. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Yeah, like, she was, like, having me, like, download their Jehovah's Witness app on my iPad and shit and, like, going over Bible shit, and she's like I'm like, "This is interesting." I'm, like, thinking of this academically. I'm like, "So
Uh-huh.
so what do you guys believe?" And, like, I went to one of their, virtual, meetups, like, one of their, like, services, and I'm, like, listening to this service while I'm playing video games
Uh,
because
uh.
so I'm, like, running through Dragon Age killing shit while listening to them, like, talk about, religious stuff purely academically, and I'm just like, "Wait, y'all believe that? That is wild." And
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that I learned about Jehovah's Witnesses, if you did not know, is, they cannot get transplants of anything. They cannot get blood infusions. So, if they are having surgery, they have to find a doctor who will agree to not do a blood transfusion during the surgery, or they refuse the surgery.
Wow.
Is not that wild? That is wild to me, and it's because they have this thing about, like, the body being sacred as part of the covenant. Like, something about being a Jehovah's Witness means that you're part of this special group, and you can't take in the blood of someone that is not of this special group, but, like, they also can't give blood. So it's not like they can have, like, a Jehovah's Witness blood bank where they can have their special Christ blood that can be shared amongst the
Christ blood.
community. No, because 'cause they're not supposed to give away their Christ blood either. They're only supposed to have the blood within their body so that their body is whole for Jesus or whatever. It's
But our bodies are
fascinating.
so ephemeral that, I mean,
I know. It's wild. It's absolutely, absolutely wild to me, at least.
my brain is like, I don't accept this at all. My brain is like, I don't accept this at all, and trying to figure out why I don't accept it. But I don't accept that at all. Like, My body is not so much a covenant as it to me, my body is not a covenant as much as it is a gift.
Mhm.
Even when it's towed down like it is right now.
See,
That bitch is a gift.
I see my body as, like, a meat suit that I'm, like, Ava style piloting at this point.
Mhm. Mhm.
And because of that, I'm like, "Hmm, okay, how can I level this up?" So I'm decorating it. I am working out more to make it more efficient to doing
Mhm.
things. I am trying not to consume things that I am allergic to so that it doesn't shut down
That's a
randomly for no
that's a that's
reason,
a good one. I'm
you know?
happy for you for that one. Although I will say you were like, I'm not sure if it was the peanuts in this thing that I am allergic to, and then went and ate a bunch of fucking peanuts, and then reported back that no, it was not the peanuts. I mean, aside from that, I think you're doing well.
Look, like I said, I'm just piloting this machine. I gotta figure out what makes the machine tick. Um, sometimes that involves experimentation,
Oh my God, you're
you
gonna
know?
love Mau Mau and the Apothecary Diaries.
I probably will.
Gonna just love her.
I love her attitude already, and I've only seen,
Hmm.
like, clips of it, so I'm probably really gonna like the show. Um, so I'm excited for watching that one. I'm trying to figure out what we're gonna watch next because we only have 3 episodes of Mushoku Tensei left, and it's so funny because like, Kurt keeps renaming things that we're watching, right? Because that's just what he does. I don't it's not because he can't I don't think it's because he can't remember, he just renames things. So, he calls Mushoku Tensei Mushy Tension, and
Hmm. Hmm.
that became a really funny this last season because the main character got erectile dysfunction. I'm not getting into why that's part of the plot, but it's part of the so we're like, "Oh, it has double meaning now." Anyway, um, so since there's only 3 episodes of that show left, I'm trying to figure out what we're gonna watch next, and we have been watching all of the Lord of the Rings movies, but, like, director's cut edition, and we're gonna watch all of the Hobbit movies director's cut edition because I haven't seen them. And that's like a commitment. So he's like, "No, we're gonna, like, watch them starting on Sunday so that we can, like, get the majority of it watched, but every other Sunday because I have, one of my friends wants me to come give her massage on every other Sunday until I have her
Hmm.
back decent enough to do it once a week." But yeah, so we've also been watching Lord of the Rings a lot, and we watched, I realized, like, we've watched Fellowship of the Rings, like, 7 times, and we've watched the other 2, uh, like, once or twice. And I'm like, "So let's watch these because I don't remember them."
Hmm.
I don't remember them at all, especially Return of the King, or now we're calling it because of WoW, "Hey, the king's back."
Mm. Mm.
Because it's apparently a WoW joke where they were, like, talking about the titles of Lord of the Rings, but, like, from a fake author that they made up, and, like, the names of them were altered because it was a joke. So,
Mhm.
it was something like, "A bunch of dudes have a ring," and and what was the second one? The 2 towers? Like, "A couple of buildings," and the last one is,
Mhm.
"Hey, the king's back." So, now I just call the Return of the King, "Hey, the king's back," 'cause I think that's pretty funny. So, it's really
Mhm.
funny to me. Um, but yeah, so we're probably gonna watch that one at some point the weekend after this one because I'm going to give massage tomorrow. She was just checking in on me. I'm like, "That is fine. I'm totally fine with arriving, but you need to put the dog up because I am not getting scratched on my leg because he jumps because he's a
Mm.
new little pitty. He's adorable." And Django very much likes smelling me when I come back after seeing Bruno, but
Mhm.
he's a jumper, and I have a fresh tattoo, and I refuse to have it scratched by a dog.
Mhm.
Like, Django gets very interested in it when I put the Aquaphor on it, and I'm like, "No, no, your hair's already all over it.
Mhm.
You can't lick it too.
Mhm.
I'll kill you.
There
Literally.
was a client I had who had a dog,
Mhm.
and I used to give canna massages. And so I'd give the massage,
Mhm.
the full massage with the canna oil, canna butter, and I would leave. And then one day they called and said, basically they told me the dog is high.
Because the dog was licking them afterwards.
The dog was licking them afterwards. And I was like, oh my God, do you want me to stop using canna oil? She's like, no, keep using canna oil. Just like I have to remember that I need to put on a robe. So I was wondering, the dogs are normally excited when people they see come over, but the dog was like, then had no access to the canna, had figured out it was the canna, not just their owner's skin,
Yeah.
and kept trying to lick my hand while I was giving the massage.
Get direct from the source. Nom, 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 nom.
Yes. Yes. And this was a tall Rottweiler.
Oh.
It wasn't Ferdinand, it was another Rottweiler. It was a tall Rottweiler, so I'm trying to give a massage while batting this big head of this humongous dog out of the way. That's just like, I just,
The
yeah.
the dog is just trying to get high.
Dog just wanted to get high. Dog was like, oh, you're here? It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a good. I miss
Yeah.
my massage clients. I used to go over to one of their houses and they would like have three of them lined up for me to do a massage on.
Ooh, nice.
And while someone's in the kitchen cooking, and by the time I'm done, they would give me money and they would feed me, and then I'd be gone. It would be like the whole Saturday. It
That
was
sounds
beautiful.
amazing.
It
Yeah.
was. One of them was terminally ill.
Mhm.
That was the primary person I was going to go see. And I was definitely a part of holding them through their process of
Mhm.
transitioning on. And yeah, so that's why people were always there. It was always like a celebration, like a party. As soon as they found out that he was terminal,
Mhm.
they were all there. Like it was a nonstop gather party situation that was happening around him.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
That's like, I love how community shows up for people.
Yeah.
That, like, really, really warms my heart when I hear stuff like that. Even though, like, yeah, it's sad that the person is dying, but the fact that he was able to die surrounded by his loved ones is just it's fucking amazing, and so many people don't have that. Like, there's so many people that just don't have those kind of connections anymore because society now basically tries to ensure that we don't make those kinds of connections.
Hmm.
That's why the nuclear family is pushed so hard, is because if you have a household full of people and everybody's paying bills and cooking and getting everything done together, then, it's not as productive for capitalism to be able to sell enough houses. And it's like,
Yeah.
well,
And,
but at this point we don't have the resources because of how the system has been working over the past 50 years, etc. We don't have the resources to live like that, so we need to go back to a space where it's more community based.
mhm.
Um, so we can all
Someone
live
was
together.
saying monogamy in this economy.
Right. Who's she? I don't know her.
Like, no, we need four income houses. Like, we need, um, like, that's why I love my queer community because we're like, no, we're going to be multi generational. We're going to be like multi couples. Like, it's like we need to help each other survive. So,
Yeah.
my queer community has been I've always relied on it, and what I love about it is that it was more than just like roommates. It was always like your family. You live
Mhm.
here, your family, we're family. We pool our resources together. Like one of us may be able to pay a little bit more rent, and that means the one that's able got the food hookup is going to do the food.
Mhm.
Like it's. I have never felt um as seen or loved as I had living with my queer community. Even though shit got fucked up in a lot of different situations, like, but my queer and kinky community, I wouldn't be here if not for them. Like, literally. Like, it was queer community that took me in during the pandemic, Bertha and Michelle, and they treat me like family. It's been beautiful. But
I love that.
I think capitalism thrives off of our isolation because it's easier to control people when they're alone
Yeah.
or afraid. And when you're in a large group of people, you're not alone or afraid. So I think isolating us through extreme individualism is one of the tools that it uses to enact further abuses on
And
us.
also polarizing communities because capitalism
Mm-hmm.
knows that if the poor actually get together,
Oh my God.
if the hood and the people in the country actually got
Mm-hmm.
together and said, "Fuck this noise," they would
Mm-hmm.
be
Oh, it'd be over.
screwed. They would be
It'd be over.
so screwed
It'll be over.
completely.
I remember when I was in Atlanta and one of my friends and I, we were there for the Southern Mystic something, another like witchy conference where we were
Mhm.
both presenting at. So we went there. Mystic South it was called. We went there. We were like, okay, let's go get some food outside of the hotel. This car drives up and it is the most redneck of rednecks. Like he is like, and he rolls down the window and he looks at us and we're looking at him and he's like, I'm a redneck. And we're both like,
Like,
we're both like,
"Okay,
we're both like,
thanks."
okay. And he's like, you probably don't feel safe right now because y'all two black women. And we didn't say anything. And he
Yeah, that's a
said,
weird way to put that.
that's a weird way to say, but he was coming 100%. He
Yeah.
wasn't lying. He was telling facts. And he said, and he basically said to Cinnamon, he's like, when we get together, we can destroy everything. And I was like, what the fuck did he just say? And then he said, fuck the police. And we got in the car.
Ah! You're like, "Ah, my people." That is correct.
Fuck the police. We got in that car. We were popping to his music, our music. We were just like, it was like the best little thing ever. And he dropped us off. He's like, y'all take care now. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, I felt so loved by that man. I felt so loved and seen and held. Like when he rolled up, we were just like,
What
what
is
is
this
gonna happen?
happening? Yeah.
He might drive us out to the woods and leave us. Like we had all kinds of thought process because of that polarization, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're looking at him like he's gonna hurt us. And he's like, no, why would I hurt someone who I'm allied with?
Right.
Because he saw himself as allied with us. And that polarization shit would
Yeah.
make it so that would not allow that to be. So yeah, no, it's I've got to there was this joke somebody made that's like empires are ruled by emperors, kingdoms are ruled by kings, countries are ruled by
I mean, it's not wrong.
right. And so I've been looking at it, and then I found out yesterday that Finland is like 10% of their workforce went on general strike because of healthcare costs, basically like union busting, and something else. He said the price of living is getting too high, more than they're being paid. So 10% of their workforce
It's just like,
total
"Fuck it."
went on general strike. And 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 they're
That would shut a
opposing.
country down. That would shut a country down.
They're opposing their right wing government, and I'm like, how many governments around the world are dealing with? I'm like, the governments of the world, all of the governments of the world are corrupt for the most part, and we're coming up. I'm so excited. I'm sorry, my eyes are like just so peeled and so high. I'm also so high, but it's like we we've been thinking too small. Like we're trying to liberate our small communities, but this is global liberation that we're at
Mhm.
the precipice of. Like this is global liberation. It just blows my mind because that makes me realize how many of us are like this shit is fucked and it doesn't have to be this way.
I feel like also because we have more direct contact with people from all over the world than we did previously. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
'Cause, even just, in my relatively small account, I have people that I regularly talk to in literally every corner of the world
Mhm.
because we have access to that now. There's no reason why we can't get together and make a difference, and I think they're starting to see that with what's going on with Gaza, because a lot of these global initiatives and people getting together and people talking about it and being like, "We're not gonna shut up about this because you're not doing anything. We're not gonna shut up until you guys actually do something to stop this." And it's not just us. It's everyone on the face of the planet talking about it all the time, constantly.
Mhm.
And because we're a community that's global, who's saying we can't take this kind of initiative and talk about things like the economy, the
Mhm.
environment, other things that are affecting all of us at once, and that we can make a change because, money is made up.
Yeah.
Money is made up. The fact that there's, exchange rates is bizarre to me. Money is made up. We've decided how much it's worth, essentially, as a collective, and we can
Mhm.
decide to do other things with it, and
Yep.
I think that's global collectives are beautiful, and we should encourage them and try to see each other more. And I will say, even just I feel like over the past 5 to 10 years, probably maybe even a little bit further than that, we've started seeing more of a globalization in our media because places like being able to access foreign movies, foreign TV shows, um, has exposed a lot of people to cultures outside of their own in
Mhm.
ways that we struggled to do when I was a kid. When we were kids,
True.
it was really hard to find, global movies, and then all of a sudden, the internet's happening, and we're like, "Hey, gimme that good shit."
Yeah,
And
I depended on the independent film channel. That was the only reason I was able to see
mhm.
things outside of this country. But then I had no one else to really discuss them with because
They
no one
weren't
else
popular,
was. Yeah.
and now they are,
Mhm.
and now they are. So, I mean, on the one hand, it can feel very, like it's everybody that likes the same things you like, but it's because the algorithm of social media will show you more of the things that you like, and
Mhm.
the other people that are also in those spaces are also liking the things you like. So that's why it can feel like anime is universal when it really isn't. It's it's not. It's not as popular as we think it is because,
It has gotten more popular than it
it
was.
it has gotten more popular to the point that, I keep thinking it's universal, and then, the people at work were asking me what tattoo I was getting, and when I told them Spike from Cowboy Bebop, literally nobody in my crew was like, "I don't know what that is," and I'm like, "Okay." Sad.
Which reminds me, I want to see Lazarus, but I think it's on I think it's on
Is Lazarus out
Amazon.
yet? I feel like it's on
I don't
Amazon. Yeah.
I don't know. So you're gonna have to watch it and tell me about it. But I wanted to see it so bad.
Well, the fact that it's Mappa and the creators of Bebop together.
I know.
You know
I
Mappa goes hard. You
know.
know what? There's probably a scraper site you can find it on.
I'm gonna see, and I'm gonna watch it on
You know
my
what?
phone because
I'm gonna ask my massage therapist what his anime site is because um uh he doesn't pay for things. But he watches
okay,
everything I tell him to.
okay, yeah, find out, bring that information back home. Um, yeah, I was thinking something about global liberation and governments. Oh, that reminds me. How's Florida doing? Like, don't you? Oh no, your people are in Texas. How's Texas doing?
Did you see they were trying to secede or something? That fucking
Yeah,
state all the
yeah.
time.
No,
They're just like, "Bye. We're
nobody,
out." The instant
nobody.
anything gets remotely hard, "Oh, we're not allowed to kill immigrants anymore? Peace."
That's
Because
exactly what's going
that's how Texas is. Just like, "Fuck y'all, I ain't gonna do this no more. I'm not gonna follow your rules. You won't let me use what I wanna use, I'm gonna do it anyway.
on. A 50
Stupid
car
feds."
convoy just drove up to Texas to support the National Guard and not cutting the razor wire that they've been mandated to cut by the Supreme Court
Mhm.
because they are endangering the lives of immigrants. And this happened after multiple people have either gotten hurt or died, but recently there was a mother and her two children that drowned right before the decision was made. And it was a big deal because our Supreme Court is made up of assholes.
Yeah.
Like, our Supreme Court
Like,
is made up of
they
just,
wouldn't do anything about it if like, I mean, we still have children in cages. That's like
yeah,
they're clearly not on the same page as
no,
us.
no,
But the
no,
fact
not
that
at all.
even they were like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't murder people." And Texas is like, "Nah, I wanna."
Yes, 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 yes. That's exactly what's going on. I mean, the thing is, I'm not finding any information about it in the mainstream without having to dig for it. And like, I've even posted about it on my Facebook. I'm like, does anybody notice it's happening? Because it actually could have some ramifications if Biden has to, oh, that's a whole nother thing to talk about. But if they have to federalize the National Guard, they haven't, like, I don't think they've had to do that since Ruby Bridges, like, since the integration of the schools in the South.
Yeah, no, they haven't. They haven't done that since. Wow.
Yeah,
That's a whole lot of wow if they do that. And meanwhile, Texas is like, "Yeah, if you don't let us kill people, we're gonna be gone.
yeah.
Thanks. Bye."
And 26 governors, the governors of 26 states, have signed a kind of petition thing sent to the White House about how they are the White House is effectively putting forth policy that endangers the country because it endangers a border.
I am sending it to you on Instagram because I don't want to get in trouble for, um, promoting swashbuckling sites on the podcast.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
It has everything. He's shown it to me before. It has literally everything. You just have to watch ads.
Okay.
So
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yes. So yeah, so that's been happening, and I'm like, why is nobody like paying attention to this? And I feel the same way I did when I was like 17, talking about the crash of the ruble. I was like, the ruble is crashing, and that's going to have global ramifications. Even though people want to act like Russia's not a force, like Russia, the ruble's going to like basically crashed. And I'm like, it's gonna destabilize their government, and that's a big deal. And everybody was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Have you not?" I'm
How
like,
do you not know
"How do
this?
you not know this is happening?" And I'm like, and we're at fault for it. It's our fault because we brought capitalism in as soon as it opened up. We took all the money out of the country and it was like, bye. Like, it's
Yeah.
our fault. Like, we did that. We did that.
Like,
And
I don't think people realize how many countries we've ruined. It it's a lot, by the
it's a
way.
fucking lot.
It's a whole all over the world too, like, we weren't
So
discriminatory
many.
about who we were who we were taking out.
So many. We're a bully.
Uh-huh.
We're a bully.
The stuff going on right now is, like, prime example of that. It's funny, they're like, "Oh, yeah, the UK is, like, really big on imperialism," and it's like, y yeah, and so is
Yeah.
most of the colonies they made.
Yeah.
Though I will say I think Australia does tend to do things slightly differently, but I think that's
Man,
just
Australia's just as fucked. Australia's just as fucked because they like to pretend that they didn't take that land from indigenous
oh,
people,
no, they did that.
and and they wanted them to be recognized. Indigenous people have fought to be recognized as a marginalized group, and the Australian government was like, no, nope,
No.
no, no.
No.
Yeah, so Australia's also fuck shit. They're indigenous people. Um, they treat like trash, even in this day and age, just like we do over here.
Yeah.
Like just awful. And the thing is that I find, like, if they listen to their indigenous people, and if we listen to our indigenous people, so much of this environmental crisis shit wouldn't be happening.
Nope. Sure wouldn't.
Or that, like, a big example out here is we wouldn't be having the fires we have every summer.
Well, the water situation is so fucked up. The water
Oh my
situation
god.
is so fucked up. Like, I don't even wanna think about the water situation right now.
That's one thing I was obsessed with as a child. As a child, I was like, I better drink. For some reason in my brain, it's like, you better enjoy water now while it lasts. And it's like, and we're about to start using recycled water here. And I'm like, for tap water.
Yep. Better get you a Brita or whatever.
Yep. We have a Brita. We have a Brita. But we're also by Chevron. So the water, I could taste the chemical in the water.
Ew.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Even
that's
with the
no good.
Brita. Oh my God, I'm
I
so high.
I remember when I lived in the city, I really liked the water, but I also remember that it was carted in from somewhere else.
Hmm.
I think we took Colorado's water in the
Oh my
city,
God. That was the best water I ever had,
right?
was when I was living in Colorado Springs.
Colorado
I would just be
has,
in the
like,
shower
top
like,
tier
gulp, gulp,
water.
gulp, gulp, gulp.
Top tier water.
Delicious.
The water here is okay, but we have hard water.
Hmm.
So, it's very minerally,
Hmm.
which on the one hand is fine, but on the other hand, it's like, just a little
Hmm.
minerally.
When I lived up in Finn Mountain, we had a well. So we had well water. And it was amazing. We just had to definitely run it through the Brita because it was hard. It was minerally, like you say. But
Yeah,
it
but
was
that's not bad.
delicious.
Man, we've talked about a lot of stuff today.
We have.
See, I told you there was, like, things that happened during the week that I'm like, "Oh, we should talk about that." But, like, it wasn't any very specific topic to talk about, just, like, little
Hmm.
things that kept popping up in my head that I'm like, "Oh, yeah, we should talk about that." Um, yeah, we should talk I wanna say that I am proud of you for falling for a green flag with the sign of affection guy. Double thumbs up because he is a sweetie.
He is such a sweetie. There was one sequence that I was like, and we'll talk about it when you watch it, so it's not a so I don't give anything away. Um, but there was one sequence where I was like, he could have handled that better. Like, but for the most part, um, yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart. I like him a lot. Oh, and the way they animated those men's lips are just
They did it manhwa style, and what's funny is I was watching a thing by Mother's Basement, which is a Canadian white guy commentator, but he's actually really funny. Like I really love his SAO stuff. Um,
mhm,
but he does like prime trash anime. So like if you ever like want to see what the best trash anime is, just like listen to him. But he was going
mhm.
the best anime for winter of 2024, and Sign of Affection was one of them. And he's like, so the guy's lips are distracting. They're distracting to watch.
Ugh.
But if that's my only complaint about this one, it's a top tier anime.
Yeah,
And he
no.
didn't say they were bad. He just said they were distracting,
Ugh.
which I'm like, I can see that.
Oh, it's so good. The lips are so good. I'm like, yes, thank you for bringing in lip. And it's not the girls' lips. It's
Mhm.
not the girls' lips. They're making like this fluffy, kissable, like you just want to bite it type situation. It's all the men. It's all the dudes have these lips that you just want to be like, I just want to get in on. I just want to get in on that situation. Just let me in on this just a little bit, just a little bit.
Just share love, share love.
Just show my appreciation. But yeah, that's the kind of lips they have, and it's super, super cute. Like it's super cute. As soon as the season ends, I will be texting you to be like, it's all done now. It's all
Watch
clear.
it immediately.
Watch it. It completely gives me the same serotonin boost as Saki and Miyano.
I love Sasaki and Miyano so much. Oh, speaking of, I actually so in the pile of things that I'm sending you, I don't know if I showed you, but I have these little chibi um they're little chibis
Oh,
of Sasaki and Miyano. And
so cute.
and we've
They're
also
so
got
cute. They're so cute.
Uenoyama and Mafuyu. So so yeah, those two, and there she has another set of Hirano and Kaguya, but I didn't grab that when they were out, so I told
Oh,
her, "Hey, tell me when you're opening the shop because I'm going to get another double set of those so that we can have those too." All the boys.
cute. Oh, I know exactly where I'm gonna put them too. So, oh my god. Oh,
Yeah, so
oh,
that's on
thank
the
you.
pile of stickers I've been collecting for you.
Oh.
And I have some art for you and some books as well. You know how I roll just randomly. Hey, here's all these things that I just have that are now yours.
I have space on my bookshelf too. I just recently bought a bunch of books to Half Price Books.
Mhm.
So I have space on my bookshelf again.
Nice.
Cause my roommates were like, I think you've run out of space for a book, and I'm like, I know this is a problem.
Mm.
So I got rid of a lot of that I don't use or like or fuck with really. If I haven't read it and I'm not going to read it. There's four books that I would have gotten rid of, but I'm keeping because they're herb books. Like three of them are like a compendium of herbs and their uses and what they look like. And I feel like if the world's going to end, I need to know how to do medicinal stuff with herbs. So I'm keeping
Yup.
them.
That's a good idea.
I'm keeping
That is
them.
an excellent idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I kept those and got rid of Scott Cunningham's herbal thing. I had like three different Scott Cunningham herbal compendiums. I'm like, I do not need that. So I
I
got rid
know.
of those.
I'm still a fan of Cunningham just because of 2 books, and one is
From
like
Birth to Summerland.
The Witch's Home.
Oh, I haven't read that one.
It's basically just describing a witch's house and like the things you can do to decorate your house and the things that like folk magic. It's folk magic.
Mm-hmm.
Where talking about all of the things that you can do in your home that are basically folk magic, like the cinnamon broom above the door, all of that stuff. And it just like, for some reason, it fills me with so much serotonin. And I'm like, well, I'm keeping this
Mm-hmm.
one. And I also, so do you know how I got my first magic books? Did I tell
No,
you that
how?
story?
Mm.
So my first magic books came from this boy who had a crush on me. I was working in the comic shop in Naperville, and one of the guys who was working there in the
Oh yeah,
summer,
you did
I
tell
did tell
me.
you,
But
yeah,
yeah.
he was working during the summer because he was in college and I was in high school, and he just had a huge crush on me. And I asked him what his pinnacle was one day, and he was like, "Well, let me tell you about it." So he brought me Cunningham's like guide to Wicca, and he also brought me Cunningham's elemental magic one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right. And I kept them because don't give me a book if you want that shit back. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
still have a copy of Erica's. So I don't know if Erica watches this. I have a copy of the witches, the fucking Anne Rice witch book.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Oh
which one
my
I'm talking
God.
about?
Yes.
That
Yes.
fucking one. So that giant tome, I have her copy of that my ex's dog chewed up, and I just kept it. So like the corner of the book is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'll just buy her a new one. And I just kept the chewed up fucking book. And
Mm.
that's somewhere. I've got like 6 copies of Sabriel somewhere. I have a problem with books, is what I'm saying. And if you ever lend me a book, never expect to get it back.
Mm.
Which is why I still have your House of Leaves. It's right back there. I know where it is.
Yes, I just bought another copy. I bought another copy of the book.
just,
I bought another
just
copy of the
know,
book.
to everyone in the world, if you ever lend me a book, it is not being lent. It is mine now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I will read it eventually, but it's mine. Like, even the library can't stop me. I still have some library books somewhere.
Oh my God. Even the library can't stop me. My problem with library books, I had to keep switching libraries because I wasn't bringing the books back.
I would just pay for them and say that I couldn't find them
Hmm.
so that I could keep borrowing books,
Yeah,
even though,
I just went to the next city over because San Jose was so sprawling. So
yeah.
it's like I was often near Sunnyvale or Mountain View, so it was like
Hmm.
Sunnyvale, Mountain View, San Jose, like
Honestly,
Saratoga.
Sunnyvale's library is really nice.
Mhm.
Like, I am a fan of that place. Like, it is in an old ass building with like bricks and shit. And I know that sounds so stupid the way I just said that. Like, oh man, that building's so nice. It's got bricks. Like, this bitch has never seen a building with bricks before. No, like you don't understand. Like it's a sprawling building. It's kind of like, for some reason, that there are 2 favorite libraries that I've been in my, well, okay, 3 favorite libraries I've ever been in. One is the Naperville Library because they like redesigned that and it has this giant window, like floor to ceiling, super big window that like looks out on the downtown area. And the
Mhm.
downtown area is like really fucking tiny and like bougie because it's Naperville. And you can see the river walk, which is like where the river is, and people go walk there, which is why it's called that.
Mhm.
Never mind. Anyway,
Mhm.
so when I was in like middle school, I used to just have my mom drop me off at the library and I would
Mhm.
sit in front of that fucking window and I would read Mad Magazine for like hours, just hours on
Mm.
end. um
Mm.
so I have really fond memories of that library. Um, and then the library at SIU is like 6 stories of library. And it's a college library, so it's got all kinds of like
Mhm.
resource documents and stuff like that. And I really liked that library. It was a neat library. I did not spend enough time in that library and I regret it now.
Mm.
And then the Sunnyvale Library I really like just because the layout is just cozy but giant at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep, I know exactly what you mean.
And you know that building is from like the 60s or 70s. And it
Mhm.
feels it inside. It doesn't feel new at all, but it doesn't feel like ancient and full of dead people either. It feels
Oh
just
Lord.
old enough.
Ancient and full of dead people. Which is an apt description. It's a legitimate description.
That's why that's honestly why I don't like a lot of really old buildings is because they're just chock full of dead people and I can't
Yep.
stand it.
They're
Though I
busy.
will say
They're full.
one of the really cool places here is actually the art museum in Cincinnati. So the art museum is free. So you don't have to pay for the majority of it. They usually just have one exhibit that is a paid for exhibit that is usually a visiting exhibit that they had to book or pay for, which is why you have to pay
Mhm.
for it. But like 90% of their museum is just free and it's open and you can just go in and during the week nobody's fucking there. It's just
Mm.
it's empty and it's an old ass building and it's really cool just to wander around and see all of the like weird country paintings and like the pottery. And the pottery is interesting because there's drama behind the pottery and like they have the drama all written out because there were two rival companies in Cincinnati and they were both run by women and these women hated each other. So
Oh wow.
they had so much drama and they were making spite pots. One of them would make like a really elaborate pot with like all of these flowers and shit on it and the other one would be like fucking bitch, I'm going to make a better pot with more flowers on it. And they just kept going back and forth making these elaborate ceramics as a fight. And it's just like super fascinating to see and just knowing that they were super spiteful while making these pots. And I'm like,
Mhm.
these petty pots are the best. I love coming here to see this fight in clay form. It's great.
Mhm.
10 out of 10. I recommend it.
Mhm. Mhm. I think one of my favorite libraries was the library for Xavier University in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Mhm.
And it's not even because it was the best library, but it was the first time I've been in a library that bright with that many windows, and I think it was like 4 floors. Um, and it was my first library that felt posh.
Ooh, yeah. Multi-floor
Yeah.
libraries are the best because you feel like you're actually in, like, one of those old Victorian libraries that you can, like, walk up
Mhm.
and you're like, "I bet I need stairs for this one."
Mhm. Mhm. So it
Yeah.
felt very like I don't know, it just felt I felt grown in that library because all libraries I've been in before, like I felt like I was a little kid or something like that. But this
Mhm.
library was like, I'm grown. Of course, it's like full of like college students, so they're like all between the ages of 18 and 20 something. and you're like, I'm such a big girl now. Uh, I love that library, and it had big plush seats, and it was so bright. It was so, and it didn't feel like it had fluorescent lighting. I know it did have some fluorescent lighting, but they had tables with lamps on them, like the ones with the green, the long green,
Mhm.
like
Oh,
looking.
those where you're like, "Ooh, I feel academic.
Yes, academic lamp.
I'm doing
Yes,
research."
yes, yes, exactly. Those fuckers, and they had those on the tables, and it was just like, ugh. And that library, I checked out a book, and the book I checked out was Diary of a Mad Housewife,
Mhm.
and it was the first book I read where I started taking on the characteristics of the person I was reading, and that was not the book to do it with.
Nope.
I about lost my damn
That is not the book to do it with.
I did lost my damn mind. And the thing is, I didn't know why. I didn't know why. And part of it was like my own traumas intermingled indistinguishably from the main character's traumas.
Mhm.
And because we had similar kind of traumas happening, but she was further on in life. Yeah, it was called Diary of a Mad Housewife, and it fucked my shit up. It fucked my shit up. Like, it took me months to recover from that book. Um, but yeah, I love the library I got it from.
Yeah. Libraries are great.
There was someone who was talking about how digital media has been harmful, and I agree with them. I agree with them how it's been helpful and how it's been harmful.
Mhm.
But one of the things they said was that if your sites go away, then so does your media, which is why they collect vinyls, not as part of being uh, bougie, but because they have a hard copy of the art that they're invested in.
Yeah.
And I feel that way about books. Like, I
Mhm.
have so many books, which is why it was hard, even if I wasn't reading them, to give them to half price books because I mean they're books.
Right. Yeah. I think that that's really important. Like, for me, I prefer collecting books that are art.
Mhm.
Like, when it comes to, like, word books, like, digital is fine, and actually, I've been doing a lot more digital even with comics lately because, um, I don't have the space in my house. So
Mhm.
I have plenty of space on my Kindle. Actually, I would have more space on my iPad if I didn't just download every single thing I buy the instant I buy it. And I'm trying to make animations here. I need space on my iPad because I keep running out of space because I have
Mhm.
too many drawings and I have too many books on like downloaded onto my iPad. And I don't want to delete drawings I have done, but it feels bad.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I'm looking at my books as we talk, and I'm like, I'm never gonna let you go. I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go. Well, most of the books that I don't want to let go are like I started a collection of black authors,
Mhm,
which has been amazing. And then I have a collection of anime, and then I have a collection of black and brown authors,
mhm,
um, brown and indigenous authors. And then I have magic books and spirituality books that run along the same lines as that. And then I have herbal compendiums and magic spell compendiums. And I'm like, and those I find, and I have a bunch of word books, but those are like all in storage. These are the only ones that are with me right now.
mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I feel like if the internet goes down and we lose digital, like I need to have access to these books, and I want other people to have access to these books. Like when they burned libraries, we lost so much
I will
information.
never not be mad about Alexandria. I will
Yes.
never
Yes,
not be mad.
right?
I will die mad about that library. I wasn't there. It was like a
You
billion
don't know,
years
you might
ago.
have been there.
The level of mad I am about it, I probably was. I was probably there, like, crying over the papyrus.
That's exactly what I was thinking about when I was saying that. It's like we took steps back in so much advanced technology because we did not no longer had access to those books or tomes and things like that. And it's just
Well,
like,
and, like, even with gender studies and queer studies, because of the Nazis, we lost, like, decades of research because there was a lot of really good institutes in Germany for that. But
mm-hmm.
because they were like, "Nope, we're right wing, we don't believe in that shit, we're gonna burn it all down," we lost just, like, shit tons of research about it, which
Yeah,
is super unfortunate.
yeah.
Sigh.
Lay fucking sigh. Speaking of books, I got the Oracle book for my well the companion card book for my new deck
Mhm.
that I just got, and it's called the Eldritch Overload Tarot Reading Guide.
Ooh, that looks
Yes.
cool.
It's so fucking cool. It's so good. The cards are so beautiful. The illustrations on the inside,
Ooh,
like, and it's part of a gaming system. Yeah,
that
there's a
sounds
whole game
cool.
that goes with it. Yeah. And you can use the tarot cards in game.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know how I might the RPG book has sold out.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna have to wait. But I want to get the RPG book too. Even if I never run the game, I just want it. I want Sit My Precious. But that's my new card deck that I'm gonna use and study. And the whole thing is about it's almost like a brighter colored version of the have you ever seen Repo Man, the genetic opera?
I actually haven't, no.
Oh my god.
Like, I'm familiar with it, I just haven't ever seen it.
I want you to watch it when you get a chance because
Okay.
Anthony Stewart Head is amazing in it.
Well, we love him. We stan.
And Paris Hilton's in it and plays herself. Like,
Okay, that sounds great.
yeah,
Honestly,
she
like, people like shitting on her, but, like, I actually think she's a really funny actress. Like, have you seen the new
she
that
was
the House of Wax movie is
hilarious.
fucking hilarious. It's a horror movie, but it's very funny because
Yes.
it involves her.
She like they told her to come in. They're like, come in and do a parody of herself. And she's like, bet. And she did it, and it was like fucking brilliant. She's one of the elements that makes the movie. Like, she was so good in it. But in this, there's all this tech, it's in the future, and there's corporations that run the world called guilds.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, basically it's all pyramid schemes. So basically it's like it's like some Blade Runner type shit, but the colors are lo-fi. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it's on some Blade Runner shit, but the colors are lo-fi and there's aliens. So I'm enjoying delving into that world and learning how to use that deck um to read other people. It feels like it's gonna be as a significant deck to me as the next World Tarot.
Oh, and that was a big one for you.
That one's a huge one for me. That's my main deck. That's my go-to. But this one feels on level with that. So
I
yeah.
just hear things happening outside.
Mm. Well, I think I am getting tired from my marijuana. And I have to, and if I'm gonna fall asleep, I have to braid my hair back up so I don't wake up with a smushed afro, which
Oh,
I
that's
hate.
probably a good point because
Mhm.
we love it when hair is fluffy, and
Mhm.
you've got it nicely fluffy right now.
It is nicely fluffy right now. It's so fluffy. It's so fluffy. I can't wait to have someone who can pull it.
And we've come full circle.
Okay, what are you gonna do for the rest of your day?
I'm probably gonna have a snack and draw and maybe watch some stuff and drink tea and get hydrated and try not to notice how uncomfortable my leg is.
Mhm. Mm.
And I might figure out how this canvas thing works and go live to draw later. We'll see how I'm
Mhm.
feeling. Um, but yeah, yeah. Also, I was able to use one of my favorite words with you earlier, which is lassitude, which is it's such a fun word because it's basically laziness, but not, for lack of a better way to put it.
Mm.
Um, you find the actual definition for you because it's important.
Lassitude.
A state of physical or mental weariness, lack of energy.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's a word. That's
right?
a gospel. That's a text.
That's why I'm like, I love that word. I mentally use it all the time, but it's very difficult to work into sentences just
Mhm.
because a lot of people don't know it because it's not in common usage at the moment. But
Mhm.
I feel lassitude a lot. So if I can overcome my lassitude, then I will work on art in front of other people.
Cool. I will get even more high, uh eat some food, and then I either gonna read or write.
Mm.
Or am I both? Yeah, you got me like when you gave me that last like prompt, I was like fucking feeling that shit. So I want to write with more prompts, but I need to find some prompts to write to.
I mean, I could send you some because I'm thinking of stuff all the
Send
time.
send me some prompts. Send me some prompts. Also we gotta figure out a way to collaborate. Like again.
Yeah. Yeah, we should.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And I'm gonna have to
I do still have your book cover in my head. I just have to get it
mm,
on paper. The one for your fantasy.
my fantasy novel, The Stone Heart.
Yes. So I'm thinking about it. Thinking about it. But yeah, so I might see you
Okay.
online later.
Yeah. If you go live, I will set up my phone and I'll be like working with you.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. We can like impromptu creative time with other people.
Mhm. Yep.
Ugh, because I think there's some
All
people
right,
I know who would
friend.
show up. So we'll see.
Yeah, if you go live and work on shit, I'll probably write. I'll probably write. Okay, all right, friend. This has been. Oh, wait, let me go back. Oh, so high, bouncing around so much. Okay, what would you leave someone with at the end of this episode? Like, what would you?
Honestly,
What's
we
your?
went through so many topics. It's it's kinda hard thinking of narrowing it down. I think I'm gonna go back to what I say a lot to people, which is take the time to learn who you are, because if you learn who you are, it's gonna inform everything else in your life. Just everything, because it's all connected.
Mhm.
It's all connected. So your community, your belief system, the things that you read, the things that you consume, everything is connected to who you are as a person. So if you don't truly know who you are, you're not going to be able to explore properly in the world.
Mm. Mm.
That's for me. What about you?
Uh, would be, uh, don't beat yourself up. Your lassitude is probably coming from a place of being, worn out by end stage capitalism and, being subjected by an oppressive government. So yeah, so don't beat yourself up, but one of the things to do is remember to invest in ways or try to invest in things that will foster hope.
Yes.
That's what I leave people with. And and also if you haven't already, look up the song that Carta introduced me to, Broken Games by FCMZ, and just play that if you need if you need a boost. It's called Broken Games. So look that song up. It's playing in my headphones right now. Like playing in my
It's a
headphones right now.
bop. It's real good. Like,
Yeah, so
however
listen to
much
that
y'all
song.
think the opening to Mashal is, this one is as much of a catchy bop. It's just
Hmm.
different genre, kind of.
It's different genres, kind of.
It's all the genres at the same time.
Bertha loved it, by the way. I played it for Bertha, and Bertha, yeah. And now Bertha's listening to Japanese punk while she sews.
Nice.
Hmm.
I love that for her.
All right, you guys, this has been Witchy Shit and Mangalit with Cartabus and Rawiyah, and we will catch you next week. Have a beautiful weekend, and yeah, keep the hope, keep the faith, keep the love, and that's it.
That's it.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.